Hey guys, we are starting this beautiful day and this great video off out in the garden. Right behind me you can see my cherry tomatoes and they are just booming still. There's actually a lot in this garden that's still booming, and I'm not going to do a garden tour, but we got to pick a few things because guess what? Frost is coming tonight. 1 degree is what they're saying, and I'm going to say it. I've been lucky so far, and I've covered a lot of things through the kind of colder snaps that we've had, and they've made it, but this may be the breaking point for a lot of things. And you can see here, we have tons of peppers, tons of tomatoes. My basil's already covered for the day because I want those blankets to just hold in whatever heat is there, but I can't cover everything. So today we're going to be making my favorite cherry tomato salad. It is just an unbelievable, it's got feta, it's got olives, oh, it's so good. And I wanted to share it with you, and what better time than when I need to harvest a whole ton of cherry tomatoes, because if the frost comes, they're all toast anyways. So I have got a cover to go on these, so fingers crossed it'll make it for another day, but tomorrow is only, I think, 12 degrees Celsius, so it's not even warming up to really get it going, and then we have frost again tomorrow night. So there comes a point where you just have to say, I'm done, and I don't know if I'm there yet. So we're going to go and we're going to pick some of those peppers, and then we're going to pick some of these tomatoes. Oh, so excited. I actually am excited for the end of gardening season. I know that's terrible, but it's just kind of one of those things. I'm ready for like the downtime. We're going to start with the pepper harvest. Now, I brought this size of a bowl. I will admit I have not really been keeping tabs on these guys, and I think I should have brought a bigger bowl. I'm going to show you this one plant. It's just loaded. I mean, these peppers, these are totally sweet Italian frying peppers. We have grown these ones for years. It's the only pepper we grow besides hot peppers in the greenhouse on certain occasions. But these suckers are always doing this to us. We get to September and we think, oh, we've put tons in the freezer, we'll just let them go. We'll just let them go. And then bam, there's tons of them. And I just can't let stuff go to waste. Now, it's not going to waste. It's going to be put into food, into the freezer, and it's going to be used, because this year we are not buying any peppers. That was my goal for this year, and I think we're going to be there. So let's get these harvested. I'm super excited to see how many we got. I'm going to try and show you guys. These all came off that one plant I was talking about. I'm going to lose them. I am picking a few of the ones that are green, but I'm going to lose another one, that are already starting to turn that red color, because they will turn on their own. And just in case it's a hard enough frost that it does kill off these plants, at least I've gotten what I can. But all that, just off of one plant. It's crazy. All right, so I have finished picking this section here. This is a 4-foot by 10-foot bed. And look at all the green ones still in here. Look at them all. So fingers crossed these keep going. This section is picked and my bowl is full. And across the way, I still have that section along with a whole bunch more. I don't know if you can hear the Canada geese in the background, but it's definitely feeling like fall today, I'll tell you. So here's my bowl. As you can see, very full already. We're going to keep going. I may have to go get another bowl for my tomatoes, and I'll use my tomato bowl for more peppers. But not going to bore you with all the details, but I'm going to come back at the end and show you just how many peppers we harvested today. And like you saw, tons of green ones still. So I'm going to quickly get the blankets over top of these before it starts to drop off, because I don't want any dampness getting onto those leaves and things if I can help it. So putting it on a little bit early. We're about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So putting it on a little bit early will help just kind of see it through this frost that we're going to get. There are some things that we aren't going to cover. They're going to be what they're going to be. Speaking of, wait, this is almost becoming a garden tour, but it's not really. I want to show you something I'm super proud of this year. Hang on. All right, so you have to excuse the mess that my chickens are making in here, but look at the Brussels sprouts. Oh my goodness, this is the best I've ever done with Brussels sprouts. They are, I'm going to just kind of I'm going to stand in the bed. A big no-no. Look at those beauties. And they're still, I know some of them look like they're opening like that guy, but it's still very, very firm. But what's happened is everything you read tells you wait till after a good frost to harvest the Brussels sprouts, because they will be tastier. And the longer it is for our frost to get here, the more those bottom ones are starting to open up. So I have started to kind of pick a few off the bottom, especially since the chickens are in there digging anyway. But I really, really hope that this frost does come in a way, because I want to start kind of tucking those away. So most I've ever had for Brussels sprouts. We're going to be putting a lot in the freezer, I think, which again comes around full circle to that having space in the freezer. So all these peppers also have to go in the freezer. So I don't know what we're going to do. But stay tuned, because I think there's going to be some stuff coming out of the freezer before we can get everything in. All right, so there is our pepper harvest. Honestly, it feels like it's going to snow. This is crazy. So we're going to quickly get stuff covered, all those plants, and then we're going to pick some tomatoes and get that covered. And then we're going to get inside and we're going to make this awesome recipe. But garden comes first. I even managed to score, look at this. We're October 8th. Noodle beans. I got a whole bunch, so we'll have to put them into dinner tonight. Super excited for that. Eating out of the garden still, October 8th. This is crazy for Canada. Let's go. All right, guys, now to the task at hand. Cherry tomatoes. Woohoo! Better hold the camera because everything is just blowing around like crazy. I don't know if my blankets are actually going to stay on. I might have to get some sort of zip tie thingies, or not zip ties, bungee straps or something like that on there. But we'll see. Anyways, task at hand. We're going to pick some tomatoes. Now, many of you know the story of these tomatoes. This is I call them the cherry bomb ones. I got them from Walmart last year, and I kept seeds because they were so good. They are super sweet, like super sweet. It's like candy, hence candy bomb, I'm sure. But I'm going to pretty much pick what I can, fill this bowl, and then we're going to go in and we're going to make this yummy salad. The one thing that I like about these ones for the salad, they're like bite-sized. You don't have to chop these up. You know how some cherry tomatoes almost become grape tomatoes? This is my kind of cherry tomato right there. You know what the crazy thing is? This is one plant. One. Every year I say to myself, I only need to plant one plant. But what did I do? Here, I'll turn you. There's 2 plants on this side. I'll tell you what, but that's okay. We're going to pick what we can. Well, in no time flat, we filled her and I found another pepper. This really didn't make a dent, but it's more than what we need for this recipe. So we're going to cut her off there. Going to go make this, and I'll come back and pick some more before I cover these guys up. But only have so much space in the fridge. So let's see what we can do. Well, guys, we are inside ready to go on this salad. We actually got rained out. It was a torrential downpour. You know, I said it was going to snow. It rained. So the peppers and all that are all still piled out there. But I did bring in the tomatoes. Here we go. And first step, obviously, is going to be to get 4 cups of those washed up and ready. Like I was saying outside, the one thing that's nice about these is there is no having to chop them or anything. They're perfect size for just bite size. There we go. 4 cups all ready to go. Now, the one thing I will say is there is still a lot left in this bowl and a lot more out there still to pick. So we're going to have to get creative with how we're going to store these. One thing we have been doing with those cherry tomatoes is dehydrating them. Give me one sec. See? They are just like little pieces of candy. They're awesome on pizzas or in omelets or on the top of quiche, like a sun-dried tomato. Super good for that. So I imagine I'm going to be bunging a whole bunch in the dehydrator tonight just to kind of get them out of here. Let's get on with this recipe because the longer it sits, the better it tastes. So I want to have it for dinner night. So let's get it made so it has a bit of time to marinate. Here we go. We have 4 cups of cherry tomatoes in our little bowl. You're going to need 1 cup of cubed up cucumbers, a 1/4 cup of diced red onion, a 1/2 cup of olives. Now, I dug this out of the pantry. This should be part of the pantry challenge. I stocked olives, I don't know, probably at least 2 years ago now when they were on sale, and I thought I was going to eat a lot of olives, and we never ate them. And it's so funny. I'd looked at the bottom of this jar and they expired August 31st, 2023. Now, I'm not afraid to eat those because we actually just finished a jar that also had expired August of 2023. But it goes to show that sometimes you can stockpile stuff, and if you don't eat it, it makes no sense to have it. But this recipe this year and having all these delicious cherry tomatoes has really helped us get through that surplus of olives. Anyways, back to our recipe. A 1/2 cup of feta. Now, whether you get crumbly or you dice it, that is completely up to you how you want to do that. And then we're going to stir that together and we're going to make our sauce. So, learning curve. When you're stockpiling something, stockpile the things that you want. Pitted olives. They're not sliced up. I would have preferred sliced up olives. But anyways, now we're going to be slightly delayed as we dice up some olives. But at least they're getting used. I really don't know why we would have bought whole olives. It's not something we would ever eat. I'm guessing we just didn't really read the can when we got it. Now, one ingredient I'm going to add, which isn't actually part of the recipe, but I have it, is some of those peppers we just picked. I just diced up one just to throw in here because it makes it look so pretty with a bit of red. Don't you think? I do have to say, I am so excited to share this recipe with you guys because it has become one of my favorite recipes this summer. And I'm not sure, and there should probably be a little caveat here with this recipe. I've made it with red tomatoes and not loved it as much as I do with these yummy cherry bomb sweet tomatoes. Still really, really, really good with the red ones, and I would have shared it even if I didn't have these ones. But now that we switched to these tomatoes, and we got lots of them this year, boy, oh boy, it's a different kettle of fish to eat it with all those cherry bomb tomatoes. So definitely loving it. But now we get into the sauce. 1/4 cup of olive oil, 1.5 tablespoons of red wine vinegar, 1/2 tablespoon of sugar, which we're going to be subbing in our green stevia powder instead of sugar, because that's what we do everywhere that we can, just to save on those sugar carbs. 1/2 teaspoon of dried oregano, 1/4 teaspoon of garlic powder, and salt and pepper to taste. Now, I know everybody hates salt and pepper to taste, right? I usually do 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, and I start with 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and then I taste and go from there. The feta cheese is quite salty, so I do find you don't really need more, but it's also nice to put it out on the table. And if somebody wants to add it, that's fine by me. So one thing I forgot to mention as I got going through those ingredients, but I'm sure you saw it on the camera, I like to mix up the sauce or dressing in a separate little container, just because then I can make sure it's good and blended and you don't get a spot that has, like, you know, a whole bunch of seasoning and a spot that's just olive oil. There's nothing worse than that. So now we're just going to pour that all on here like that. Make sure we get every last yummy morsel out of there. And then here comes the secret. I chose a container that I had a lid for so that I could just shake it all around. Works perfect, like that. You can turn it right upside down if you wanted to get it right in there. Ta-da! It's beautiful. So we're going to let that marinate, and we will come back in a couple hours when we have dinner and do a taste test. I don't really need to do a taste test, but I'll still do it anyways because I know it's going to be awesome. All right, guys, we are wrapping up this video with the moment of truth. I'm not worried about this whatsoever. It's had that perfect amount of time to marinate. I love the stevia in there instead of sugar. It provides a lot of sweetness without really anything. All in all, for the win. Let me know if you try this recipe. Leave a comment down below. Hey, I don't know what we'll get up to next, but stay tuned.